Hey yo, it's Cassie. Cop your merch at bonfire.com. You'll stay smiling.
Hello. I want to thank you for being on set with Ahku Unscripted. On this episode, I'll be interviewing my man King. He's a writer, director, an actor, an author, a podcaster, and a veteran. He'll be discussing his life story and the things that he endured while being in the military, as well as being in this industry. Stay tuned. Long time coming. What's up, brother?
What's up, man? Thank you for having me, bro.
Man, thank you for having me. Thank you for coming along and hanging out. Why don't you tell the people what your name is, brother?
What's up, everybody? My name is King Jaquell Martin.
So, check this here, man. Where did you get that name? Where does the name come from, sir?
Well, my real name is Carlos Martin, but my stage name is King Jaquell Martin, and I came up with this because I wanted to leave a legacy. I'm like, what does that mean? Well, I have two boys, one named King, the other one named Jaquell. And so my youngest son's name is King, my heir, Martin. And so my friend Miss Yancey said, if you're gonna name him my heir, that means you have to leave a legacy. You have to leave a kingdom. And so I felt like everything that I wanted to build through acting, I wanted to be able to build for my legacy. So I named it after them.
Wow.
King and Jaquell. And that's how I came up with King Jaquell Martin.
I've never heard anybody. That's dope, bro.
I appreciate you.
Wow. How old are you?
So I have a 22-year-old and I have a 12-year-old.
22-year-old?
Yeah.
Boy, you look like you're 22, brother. 22-year-old?
You know, a little bit of Wakanda juices and berries. A little vibranium, you know what I mean? Go a long way.
King!
Yeah.
Yo, man, so where'd you grow up, bro?
I'm an Army brat.
Okay.
But I'm from heaven.
I can dig it.
You feel me?
I got you.
If y'all don't understand that, that's okay. But I was born in Benton Harbor, Michigan.
Okay.
Yeah, and my mother traveled a lot by being in the military, so I've been around the world because of that. And I feel like it allowed me to become a chameleon and fit in different type of areas. But in that process of fitting in, I had to learn how to fit within myself.
Okay.
And I think I was able to do that throughout the different storms that I've been through in life. And it helped me become the man that I am today.
And do you have any siblings or are you the only child?
No, actually, I'm the baby of the family. My mom had 3 kids by the time she was 21. My older brother, his name is Marquise Martin, and my sister is Trust Martin. And I'm here, the baby, and we're all 3 years apart.
3 years apart, yeah. I'm the baby in my family. I have all sisters. And
Okay.
the baby, the youngest, so I totally understand it. It's a trip. I always wonder about being the youngest. Like, I would wonder, is it that we saw the tension or whatever? Because I've always been sort of a performer.
Okay.
I've always been that one, like, just enjoying to put a smile on people's faces and just act a fool and cut out. And all my sisters will tell you I still do it, you know, so.
Yeah, I ain't gonna lie, I've been acting a fool my whole life. Why not get paid for it? Why not get paid for it?
Well, let's talk about that. So, being the fact that you're the youngest and, you know, with your siblings and you guys travel, one thing that I do know is it seems that people who are well-traveled, they're more, like you said, more like their concept of the world is a little bit more broad than anything. So, like, what did you take from it?
I feel like traveling is almost a mental orgasm because you're allowed to see the world in ways that you've never seen it before.
Okay.
I feel like sometimes if you could stay in one area, it becomes like a prison because that's all you know.
Right.
That's all you're used to. But when you travel, you're able not to only see different things in the world, but you're able to see different lifestyles that you've never seen before.
Yes, sir.
From different cultures and how they move or how they see God or how they just want to be successful or their struggle. You know what I mean? And at the end of the day, the funny thing about traveling all around the world is everybody just wants happiness, bro.
That's the commonality, huh?
Yeah, everybody just wants success. Everybody just wants love. You know what I mean? Regardless of whether race, color, religion, or whatever else, you're just able to see people fight from their perspective.
Yeah.
Whose perspective is right? You'll never know. But at the end of the day, you get to take a piece from each culture, you know what I mean, if you so choose to, and add that to your tool belt.
Yes, sir.
And I feel like it helped me diversify who I am. And I also believe that it has helped me be grateful. Like, because sometimes you could be spoiled when you're in one environment. But when you are put in different environments, it allows you to be thankful. Like, here's a question. I'm pretty sure you've done this before. Have you ever went out and gave to the homeless?
Definitely.
And it's crazy how thankful the homeless are to you for giving to the homeless. But the homeless really don't know how much they're actually blessing you, because it's a reminder of all the things that you have and where you possibly could be. So it makes you become more grateful and thankful for the things that you complain about, because someone is doing, I won't just say they're in a worse position, but they're in a different perspective of life than you.
That's how strong love is, man.
Which is kind of why I started my brand, Whispering to Your Soul, because you mentioned losing your mother, right?
Yes.
May she rest in power and love, because I know she's watching from heaven.
Hands down.
So shout out to you, beautiful.
Shout out,
You did an amazing job, because Ahku's the proof
Hey.
of everything that you planted within him before you left this beautiful place. So thank you for being the woman that you are.
Thank you for that, brother.
I lost my father, right?
Man, my condolences.
And it's interesting though. I never knew my dad. I might have met him less than a week, less than 7 days, my whole life, right?
Wow.
And it took some maturity and some healing, because no storm lasts forever.
Right.
Scientifically proven.
Right.
And after every storm, there's a rainbow.
Right.
What tripped me out was maybe, and this is how God just had me think about it, maybe my father's purpose wasn't for me to know him.
Ooh. Expound on that.
Maybe it was my father's purpose just to give me an opportunity at life. And that's something that I could be thankful for. Because even without him, or without the relationship, I still have life. And it gave me the opportunity to be grateful for the fact that he gave me life, and what I do with my own free will and how I choose to heal. Then I can have the life that maybe I should have had if I had a father in my life, or now that I have boys, I can be the father to them that I've always wanted.
Come on.
And so it made me think of this, I didn't think of anything. God allowed me to download this formula.
Okay.
This formula is emotional intelligence equals life divided by you.
Ooh, that's dope. That's a bar. Say that again.
Emotional intelligence equals life divided by you.
That's yeah.
So people be like, well, what do you mean by that?
I
You know, I don't care what you call him. I happen to call him God.
okay.
You could say higher power, Mother Earth, energy, something bigger than you, whatever, you know, from your perspective or cultural perspective, right? I believe when God created you, he gave you the gift of emotions.
Right.
Happiness, sadness, anger, love. Nobody had to teach you that.
Yeah.
It was already pre-programmed in you.
Go ahead, King. Yeah.
But there's a difference in having emotions and being emotional.
That's right.
Your emotions are your superpower. But when you become emotional, you're no longer in control of your superpower,
It's emotion.
right? So the difference between the two is your emotional intelligence. Have you ever done something and then you regretted it when you no longer felt that way? Well, the difference between having emotions and being emotional is your emotional intelligence equals life. Life is made up of good experiences and bad experiences. And you would agree that life was here before me and you, right?
Already.
Cool. Divided by you. That means, Ahku, you are the common denominator of your own life. So how you choose to feel about your good experiences and how you choose to feel about your bad experiences, based off of your own emotional intelligence, you'll create your own heaven and hell. Based off of how you choose to feel.
Come on, man.
Now, I'm not saying you can't be upset. I'm not saying you can't be angry. I'm not saying that you can't be mad. I'm not saying you
Yeah, that's
can't
not-
be depressed. I'm not saying that, because those are all real emotions.
So it's not. It's not.
But there's a fire quote by Lisa Nichols where she says, you should let your pain become your gasoline to your automobile of success.
Yeah.
So all that pain, all that hate, all that upsetness, if you use it in the right way, I believe that it could push you further than love.
So you're saying that it's both.
Yeah.
So what led you to feel that way?
All right, here's the thing. I was stationed in Fort Jackson, South Carolina. And I had just got done leaving Germany. Won all type of awards, Soldier of the Month, Soldier of the Quarter. And I lived maybe a mile, maybe 2 miles away from the base. And one day, on my way home, I was wrongfully assaulted by the police in my military uniform. Not only did they assault me, I was married at the time, they assaulted my wife in front of me, in my uniform. The same officer who went viral for assaulting the young lady at Spring Valley High School, where the girl was sitting in the desk and the cop comes in the classroom and he slams her on her head and he throws her across the classroom.
Yeah, I've seen that.
That is the same officer that assaulted me in my military uniform. So the reason why he was at Richland County High School, at Spring Valley High School, was because after he assaulted me and my ex, they put him in the classroom and he did it again.
Okay, so let's rewind this. So what happened the night in question?
So I was on my way home. I lived in Quail Run. There was an officer riding in front of me. You know how apartments can be shaped like rectangles or whatever else, right? I'm riding behind the officer. I pull up in front of matter of fact, we go in the parking lot and we pass each other. And as we're passing each other, you know, I acknowledge him. For me, that's saying, hello, how are you, what's up, whatever, right? In his police report, Officer Benjamin Fields wrote that he felt like I was teasing him by bobbing my head in his police report. I pull up to my parking lot, I get out my car, I walk towards the door. My wife at the time was studying to be a nurse. She was also former military. She also went to Iraq and Afghanistan, right? Okay. I knock on the door, put the keys in, and next thing I know, I see this officer behind me. Hey you, come here. Okay. Me? He's like, yeah, you.
This is after you've gotten out your car.
I'm out my vehicle.
And you're on your way to the front
keys
door.
in the door. Yeah, I'm walking to the door, about to put the keys in my door. Officer runs at me. Hey you, come here. I'm like, who, me? He was like, yeah, you. He said, I'm out here for a noise violation. I'm like, well, it couldn't have been me. I just got home. Now, mind you, it was a fourplex, right? So the people that lived above me happened to be a police officer, happened to be black. I was like, well, it couldn't have been me, sir. I just got home. He said, give me your license and registration. A little bit of water. He said, give me your license and registration. Now, mind you, Ahku, I lost my picture license. So Alaska DMV, they send you a paper license, which is a legal document to be able to drive on until they send you the picture license, right? So I hand him the paper license. He was like, well, what the hell is this? I said, well, dude, if you just calm down, you can see that I just got back from Germany. You will not address me as dude. I'm a Richland County officer of the law. I was like, well, you address me by hey, you. He was like, well, that's because I don't know your name. Well, I don't know your name either. You know, it's funny how God put people in places at the right time. The police officer wasn't home, but her mother was home. When I said, well, I don't know your name either, the officer grabs me, slams me to the ground. Starts wailing on me. Curl up, grab my uniform, because he takes out a can of mace. Now, mind you, as a soldier, we go to the gas chamber. So we're trained on how to deal with hostile situations. You know what I mean? So I'm blocking the punches or whatever else. He gets on the radio, 1022, officer in distress. Remember I told you I played semi-pro football. So I used to take all the kids in my neighborhoods to the football games. So all the women and children are walking out and they see this man, this officer beating me. He claims he got nervous because he's seen all the women and children watching him on top of me beating me. So he takes out a can of mace and he tries to mace me. I grab my uniform, I protect my eyes, and I cover it, right? And I hold my breath. Because mace only works on you when it gets into your pores or when you start scratching, you know what I'm saying, and you open up your pores, it'll start burning or whatever else. So I know how to protect myself for mace because I'm military trained. Shout out to the Army for my military training. So as I'm closing my eyes, holding my breath, I'm not reacting like the normal civilian would to mace. So he accused me of being on drugs. He starts kneeing me and kicking me or whatever else. You got all these officers, bro. You would have thought I was Osama bin Laden the way these dudes pulled up on me, bro. My wife at the time, she runs out and she was like, well, oh my God, what are you doing to my husband? She runs back in the house and she comes back out with a camera. This is 2005. So videos wasn't a big thing. So she comes out, she's taking pictures of the whole situation. His partner, Deputy Joseph Clark, which was his supervisor, he says, get her Black A. She has pictures of me. So mind you, being a man on the ground and you handcuffed, ain't nothing that you could do. His partner runs up on my wife, throws her into the car. Not only does he throw her into the car, he handcuffs her. While her arms are behind her back, he picks her up and body slams her into the ground face first. It's one thing to be a man and you be violated. It's another thing to be a man and watch the person that you took vows with and you sort of swore to protect be violated in front of you and ain't nothing you can do to protect her. That's a different type of pain. And I still question my actions to this day, wondering if I did the right thing. Because if I fight back and I act a fool, he can kill both of us. If I don't fight back, then I protect her the way I said I would protect her. So the officer who lived above us, she comes home. She says, what are you doing to my neighbors? He's like, stay back. She's trying to protect us, right? Mm-hmm. But he put her job on the line. You know what I'm saying? He threatened her, you know? So she falls back. So her cell phone's on the ground. I asked her, can she pick up the phone because it has our evidence. The other officer goes over there, picks up the phone, and he shows the deputy that pictures that she was taking of him. He said, you can have your phone back if you delete all the pictures. I said, no, that's our evidence. Why would I do that? So they went through and they deleted the pictures. They
deleted the pictures.
They only kept 2 pictures. So I only have 2 pictures to this day of that situation, right? They call it EMS. They call it EMS because he used this mace on me. He used the whole can of mace on me. They put her in one police car. They put me in another police car. I remember them going through the phones, and he was like, well, he'll turn it into evidence for us. I don't need you to turn nothing in for us. You know what I'm saying? I can do that for myself.
Right.
So they put me in the back of the paddy wagon, and then they put her in the back of the paddy wagon. As they're putting her in the back of the paddy wagon, they said they're going to take her to the hotel. Now, you know, down south, everybody don't make it to the police station. And they do a lot of different things. I'm not saying all cops are bad. I'm only specifically talking about the ones who are.
Right.
Thank God for all the good cops that do the right thing. And I'm only talking about those cops that don't honor the badge to serve and protect like they're supposed to. There's a difference, right? Because I don't want to make it seem like, oh, well, you're just bashing police. No, I'm just telling you my experience.
Yes.
And if you want to get technical, the police badge is birthed from the slave patrol.
Right.
So how can you root out racism where something was born from it?
Right.
So we get put in the back of the paddy wagon. The guy who was driving, the officer who was driving the paddy wagon heard what he said to my wife at the time. He wrote a statement, said it seemed like nice people. He should have known because Officer Fields has a rap sheet for being a hothead. We go down to, I guess you'll say the jail or whatever else, getting mug shots. And I'm sitting here in my military uniform getting a mug shot. I'm sitting there watching my wife at the time get a mug shot taken. It ain't nothing I could do. You know, we get the free call, her aunt's a lawyer, we call the lawyer, we get out on bail. Now mind you, while all this altercation is happening, one of the young ladies, which was Jarrell's mother, steps up and says, what are you doing to them? They've done nothing wrong. And he threatens her. He said, if you don't get your Black A back, you can go to jail with them.
And you telling me that with that being said, You have to bail out on top of that.
Well, we got out on bail, right? They let us out on bail.
I guess what I'm saying is you had to spend money to get out of jail.
I don't know if, I don't want to say her name because I'm trying to keep her protected as well. I don't know if her aunt paid any money or whatever else. I just know we wound up getting out that next morning.
Yeah.
And
I know it's, I guess what I'm getting at, King, not to, excuse me,
No, you're
whistle,
totally
but it's like, on top of all that, which is the worst,
Yeah.
then you have to bail out. Because this whole conversation is triggering for me.
Yeah.
Because,
It's real.
I've experienced a lot of similar things,
Yeah.
but not to the degree of which you
Now, mind you, this is while I'm in my military uniform.
Okay, continue.
I go to the hospital. Bro, I had so much mace on me, they had to open up the ER. The doctor couldn't work on me because I had bruises and all that type of stuff all over me from being punched and kicked or whatever else, and the handcuffs on me or whatever else. I had so much mace on me or whatever else. The military turned their back on me because they was like, why would any officer do that to you? I'm like, because this is America. I'm not the first nor am I the last. When I tell you it took me 4 years to get to court, bro, I went through hell with the military. I got blackballed, got kicked out the hospital. They tried to wrongfully, illegally send me to Korea. Article 15s, anything to defame my character, right? It took 4 years to get to court. When we finally went to court, we were found not guilty on all charges. The judge damn near cried because when we went back to the police, and I suggest anyone to do this, go get an internal affairs report. You can use the internal affairs report, which is a questionnaire for the police to answer in court as a legal document to hold the police accountable. Yo, the dude was so cocky, he admitted everything, bro. I still got the documentation to this day, so exclusive, I'll give you the documentation so people can see the questionnaire type vibes. So this could be a blessing in the future to anyone else who might possibly have to go through this, right? It took me 4 years to go to court, found out guilty on all charges. Man, I lost my career. I lost my marriage. I lost friends, so-called friends. I lost everything, bro. And I was in the sunken place of my life. I'm like, God, I'm a good dude. I've always helped everybody out my whole life. Everything that I've done, I've always excelled at. Like, how could this happen to me? How could I lose everything? My mom was a first sergeant in the military. She was stationed at Fort Lee, Virginia. She left Fort Lee to come down to Fort Jackson to take care of me. You know what it's like to go from living with your family, your wife that you created, to living back with your mom and your mom coming in just to check on you. You know what that does? And you know how moms are, because moms always look at you as they little one, you know what I mean, and you grown.
All the time.
But I thank God for my mother, bro. My mom winded up forcing me to go to this place called CEO Space. Shout out to Uncle Bernie. May you rest in power and love. I love you, bro. I love your family. Shout out to September. Shout out to your mother, Goddess Lahadi Myrna Grant, who's no longer here. May she rest in power and love. CEO Space was one of the top entrepreneur conferences in America.
CEO Space?
CEO Space.
Okay.
You can look them up, CEO Space International, right? Mm-hmm. So when I went there, I'm good with kids, I'm good with people. But I'm still in my sunken place, so I don't want to let my negative energy transfer to someone else. You never know who's going to be the person to bless you. Mm. This white lady, mind you, I was assaulted by white officers. She walks up to me and she doesn't even know me, Ahku. She puts her hand on my stomach. It's like touching a black girl's hair. Like, what are you touching my stomach for? Like, weird. And then she touches me on my forehead. And in my mind, I'm like, what the hell? She says, you got to give birth to that.
Ooh, wow.
I said, what? She says, baby, you don't know who you are yet, do you? I ain't never had this type of conversation before. And I wanted to respect her because she was an elder. You know what I mean? So she says, let me ask you a question. I said, yes, ma'am. She says, you look like you play sports. I said, I do. She says, who's your favorite basketball player? Or who's your favorite sports player? I said, Kobe Bryant. She said, really? She said, baby, tell me about Kobe. Message, so pay attention to this. I said, Kobe Bryant went to Lower Marion High School, got drafted by the Charlotte Hornets, traded to the Lakers, scored 81 points, scored 63 versus Dallas, 5 championship rings, blah, 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 blah about Kobe. She said, baby, that is amazing. I said, yeah, Kobe, that guy. She said, yep. Now, what are your stats? She said, no, no, no. You heard me correctly. You told me everything about Kobe Bryant and what Kobe Bryant is doing in his life. What are your stats and what are you doing in your life? Pow. Ain't it crazy how we can know everyone's song, followers, where they're going, what they're doing in their life, how much money they make, who they're dating, who they're pregnant by, what their kid's name is, and you don't know nothing about your own life?
Yo, I always say, King, that the substance in the jar doesn't know what it is, except the people on the outside of the jar that reads the label.
Bro.
Because it's just in the jar, it's just being it.
Deep. She said, baby, look around. You see this chair. You see the suit, table, water, lights, camera, cars. Everything that you see right now in your presence, it's not what you see. What if I told you that's not a camera, Ahku? What if I told you this is not Smashbox Studios? Would that sound crazy? She said, no, baby. Everything that you see is someone else's dream. And if you're always participating in someone else's dream, who's participating in your dream? And when did their dream become more important than your dream? It's crazy how we can become a slave to everyone else's dream, but we don't have the same discipline for our own dream. We've always worked a 9-to-5 before, but there's two different types of educations. There's educations that teach you how to be a slave for someone else's dream. And then there are also schools that teach you how to run a plantation. The question is, what plantation are you working for, McDonald's or Google? And ain't it crazy how you can set an alarm to work a 9-to-5, dress the way they tell you to dress, follow the SOP, but then when you're in your off time, you don't have the same discipline to work on your own?
Yeah, it's about ownership. And that's why where it is that my people perish for a lack of vision.
Bro.
You know, and then I had this conversation the other day about, you know, faith without works is dead.
That part.
It's like you could have the vision, but if you don't have the faith and you don't have the work.
Yes.
So with that, you decided to create and make
With
a
that,
movie.
it changed my life. You know what I'm saying? So my friend Markel, because I still had the police coming up to me, knocking on my door, still harassing me and everything else. And Markel was like, bro, if you're having all these issues with South Carolina and the police, why don't you come to California? Why don't you go after your dream? And I was like, dang, I've been acting a fool my whole life. I might as well get paid for it. So you know what? I packed up my car, got in a U-Haul, drove from South Carolina all the way to California.
Okay.
Now, mind you, I didn't know what I was getting into. That's how I wound up in the Bay Area.
Okay.
I wound up in San Jose.
Boy.
Got with John Casablanca.
Okay.
And, you know, John Casablanca, shout out to them. They're a modeling acting agency. I booked my first commercial off the rip. I booked a Bank of America commercial.
Oh, that's big.
I booked voiceover, and I was the lead actor for it. It aired during the World Series, NBA championship, and the Super Bowl.
First, out the gate.
Out the gate, bro. And that's how I became a SAG actor.
Man, that's amazing.
Yeah, man. And it's funny because before I left, you don't know how many people told me I was crazy.
For leaving, going to
For
California?
leaving to go to
Coming to
California.
California, okay.
You know how many people said, you're just a soldier. Don't nobody know you. You can't make it. Why would you leave? You know, and it's crazy because when I got put out the military for my retirement, they tried to put me out with a 0% retirement.
0% retirement, based on what happened.
Based on what happened to me. So I went to the Post General, I wrote the White House, I said, hey, this is what happened to me, here's the documentation. You need to do something about it. Post General saw it, he changed my retirement from 0% to 70%. Now mind you, I'm a medical soldier. So the same people who treated me wrong when I got wrongfully assaulted by the police were the same people who did my medical evaluation. They're not gonna give me no fair shake. They want to get rid of me. And the reason why they want to get rid of me is because they treated me like I was guilty and I could prove it. So I became a problem. I became a problem for the NAACP, the Rainbow Push, all those different black organizations, bro. When I went to the NAACP, the South Carolina branch, I'm not talking about all the NAACP, I can only talk about the part that I dealt with. I asked the NAACP for help. They said, how much money are you donating to us? What'd you say? Bro, I just told you I got assaulted by the police, me and my ex-wife. And you asked me about money? No, thank you, I'm okay. I appreciate you anyway. Because this isn't the NAACP that I read about in my history books. I'm good. Mr. Clyburn wouldn't help me out. I'm good. So many people were scared of Sheriff Lott. So many people are scared of Richland County Police Department. They still are to this day. I'm good. So it motivated me to come to Cali. And that's why I said sometimes pain can take you further than love. Because I swear to God, I had survivor's guilt. Breonna Taylor, Sandra Bland, Eric Gardner, Philando Castile, Trayvon Martin, and so many names that are not named are no longer here. God, why you keep me here, bro? Why don't you call me home? I'm ready to go home. Why don't you call me home, man? Because so many people who look like me ain't here. What's so special about me that you let me see another day, bro? And it's still happening to this day, Ahku. And I felt like God was telling me that he was going to use me to be a voice for the voiceless. And I said, God, if you're going to use me like you've never used me before. Use me in ways that I've never imagined that I could do what I was supposed to do. Let me be obedient and create platforms, films, television, acting in every step of the way to be able to honor my ancestors and create a better future for those who come after me.
And so with that, you created a film about the incident, about this experience.
Yeah, with that, my bad.
No, you're good. Take your time, man.
I wrote a book. Shout out to Ryan Coogler. Shout out to Michael B. Jordan. They did Fruitvale Station. And they told that story. Beautiful. Shout out to Nessa from Hot 97. Shout out to Colin Kaepernick for Know Your Rights and standing up for people like me. When all this happened to me, Ahku, I wound up moving to California. The clip went viral with the little girl getting assaulted by the police. I'm in the comment section, hey, that's me. I'm the soldier that that cop beat up, blah, 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 blah. Next thing you know, I got mad news stations reaching out to me. They want the story or type vibes. Mind you, I didn't take a dime for it because it wasn't about the money. They flew me to New York to be on CNN. I stayed at the Empire Hotel. I am telling my story on the 6 o'clock news. And I'm really feeling like, oh, they really want to hear what I got to say. There's a difference in wanting to hear what someone has to say, and there's a difference of wanting to get ratings. It really wasn't about my story, it's about the ratings, because when I brought up the police abuse, or when I brought up how we heal from that, or how we improve from that, they was like, no, let's talk about how you felt when you saw your wife get beat up. So they just wanted the pain. They didn't want the results of the healing. You know what I mean? And still to this day, I've never been to court for my civil suit.
Really?
I've never had my day in court. What happened was John Mobley tricked me out of my court case, black lawyer. He told me if I drop the assault charges, that we would get paid. You gotta give or take, right? Mind you, not knowing the law, that's why I wanted to shout out Colin Kaepernick for saying, know your rights. Not knowing your rights, I signed the paperwork, but before I signed the paperwork, I'm like, can I call my mom because this don't make sense to me? Why do I have to drop the assault charge when they assaulted me? He was like, oh no, this is how this works, because when you don't know, people can take advantage of your ignorance. And it's my fault for being ignorant. I signed the paperwork, they dismissed my case. When they dismissed my case, I've been trying to get my case heard and seen at the United States Supreme Court. Still nothing. Then my case is brought back up when the little girl gets assaulted by the police. When the little girl gets assaulted by the police, I go back to VA, and VA changes my medical retirement because the military was playing in my face. I went from 0% to 70% to 30% to finally 100% retirement. So now I'm officially 100% retired vet, but I'm still looking to get my back pay from the day that the incident happened. Right. Nothing changed. He just got to do it again to someone else. Oh, real quick, so let me tell you a funny story. Let me tell you how I got on HBO Ballers.
Hey man, we're gonna transition to that, but you beat me to it. Go ahead, man. Tell them the story.
My bad, gang. My bad. Because it reminded me of when you was talking about how when you first got here, you were in your car, but you were still obedient, and you being in your car and all the sacrifices that you made led you to this show.
That's right.
So you know, you definitely inspired me, brother.
Appreciate it.
I remember when I first got here, I was doing security. I still do security to this day. I was doing security work, and I'm around Morris Chestnut, Jack Black, and all these stars, all these amazing people, and I was embarrassed, bro.
Why?
Because I was like, God, this ain't what we talked about. this wasn't what we agreed on. I didn't agree to be security in front of all these people. I agreed that these my colleagues, right?
Yeah, that's.
But you're gonna vibe with this one. He said, if you act like a security guard, they're gonna treat you like one. But if you act like the star you were called to be, then they'll recognize you as that. It's not what you have on, it's who you are. He was like, you were just at home watching these people, but you're in the room. You just got wrongfully assaulted by the police, but you're in the room. You were just wrongfully facing 10 years in jail, but you're in the room. And you still complaining you can't see the blessing that you're in the room.
Come on, talk about it.
Right? So before I went to film school was 7 days a week. I said, God, hey, this ain't what we talked about. How am I gonna audition and I'm in class 7 days a week? You're going to school, shut up. Okay? So I went to school. One day we had a 3-day weekend and I had an audition for Ballers. When I went to audition for Ballers, they wanted me to rap. I was like, I'm not a rapper, but I can freestyle a little bit. You know, you have your little ciphers back in the day. So I'm rapping, but I think the young lady who was doing the audition got it wrong, right? Because I really wasn't rapping. I was rapping like hollering at a chick. So she had me freestyle for nothing, you know what I'm saying? But I did because that's what they wanted me to do in the audition. I did what I needed to do. So, you know, so I go to school. I don't hear back from Ballers for like 3 months, gang. And I get a call from my agent. You know that call that everybody regret. Hey, King, we want to know if you're free at 3 o'clock. I was like, yeah, I'll be free around 3 o'clock. She was like, oh, we're going to have the manager on their phone too. All right, cool. We've all been let go of things before, you know what I mean? So I'm thinking this is the let go call or whatever else, right? 3 o'clock hit, they call me back, ring, 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 hello? Hey, King, have you heard the news? Yeah, thank you guys for everything you've done. I know I've been in school. I ain't booked no jobs. I ain't made y'all no money or anything like that. So I just want to say thank you for believing in me. Thank you for your time. I appreciate you. They said, King, what are you talking about? I said, y'all finna let me go, right? And I was like, no, you book Ballers. I was like, well, that's why I said thank you for your time. They said, King, you book Ballers. Oh, let's go! I know it! He said, I'm in the middle of the street. People driving by looking at me like I'm a fool. I don't care. I'm lit. Call my mama. God, I told you your son was gonna be something. Mama.
Yes, sir.
You dig? You hear me?
Yeah, man.
Get my composure back.
Nah.
I put Ballers, let's go! Right?
That's right.
So, this is how funny God is, Ahku. Guess where Ballers was at, the set,
Where?
where they were filming?
Where?
Fox Studios, the same place where I did security. So remember when I told you I was embarrassed to be a security guard? God brought me right back to the same place. The same people that I was working with was the same people that walked me to my trailers. The same people that I had shifts with walked me to my trailer, bro. And instead of me being arrogant or acting cocky or rude, I said, man, if I can do it, you can do it too. And here's how I did it. Instead of me being funny and look at me and I made it and do you know who I am and who I'm finna work with? I said, bro, you could do the same thing. You just really gotta believe step by step. So I get in my trailer, I get dressed up. Shout out to the bro, Chris Lofton. Amazing brother, bro, super talented. Chris is on everything, power, whatever, right? Chris is blowing up big time, you feel me? So run my lines with Chris, Aaron, Frazier, and everybody else, you know what I'm saying? Shout out to the bros. Shout out to The Rock. I'm on set. Somehow they found out that I was a soldier that got assaulted by the police. On Ballers, season 4, episode 10, they do one about Colin Kaepernick. You know, this is when people were making comments like shut up and dribble and all that stuff was really, really big. I got to meet the creator of Ballers. And I cried, bro. And I said, thank you for caring about somebody like me. Ballers is the hottest show on HBO. You don't have to touch this topic. You don't have to mention it and you'll still be amazing. But the fact that someone in Hollywood cared enough about somebody like me, bro, you don't know what that means to me.
That's right.
I'm in tears, Ahku.
Yeah.
I said, I even wrote a book about it. He said, you did what? I said, I wrote a book about it. He said, you got it? He said, go get the book. Ran to the car. On set, mind him, we filming. I had a box of books in the car. I just got done doing.
If you stay ready, you ain't got to get ready. He's telling you so.
Bro.
You always stay prepared, man.
I brought the box of books to set, Ahku.
That's amazing.
Do you not know the same actors that I was binge watching to prepare for the show were the same ones asking me for my autograph when I gave them my book?
Full circle.
Ahku, this is the biggest show I've ever been on and I'm having a book signing. Just saying thank you, in tears. Did the scene with Chris. We had an amazing scene with Chris, you know what I'm saying? Shout out to the bro, and you can't let your pain define you. Or yes, you can. Yes, you can. But if you choose to let it consume you, know that was a choice. But if you let your pain motivate you, baby, I promise you, if you could put your pain in the positive direction, I swear to God, you'll go further than where you've ever been in your life. One moment doesn't get to define your life.
It's the facts, man.
You
It's
do.
The facts. It's the facts.
You do.
I want to end with your clothing.
Oh, yeah.
So tell the people about your clothing, brother.
Real quick, so I started a podcast entitled Whisper Into Your Soul.
Whisper into your soul.
Yeah. Shout out to Omar, 24/7 Live Culture Minute. We were doing a podcast and we were going crazy. It was me, Serena, and Jaquell. In less than 6 months, our podcast won the Essence Film Festival.
Seen you on stage, brother. I was like, look at King,
so
man.
we won the Essence Film Festival.
That's amazing. Congratulations,
right?
brother.
Shout out to the Queens. Shout out to Omar and Adonis. I want to give my brother and them love. You feel me?
Yes.
But not only that, it inspired me because God said, "Yo, I need you to start your brand." And I was like, "What are you talking about?" Whisper Into Your Soul, W2YS.
As he was whispering into your soul.
Yes, and that's where the name comes from. That's where the logo comes from. So not only
show that logo a little bit, brother. Don't be shy,
you know what I'm saying? Yeah. So not only did I start the podcast Whisper Into Your Soul with the team, I'm starting Whisper Into Your Soul Intimate Conversations, about authentic conversations, the same way you're doing this, right? And then so God took it a step further and he said, you know what? You're gonna start a clothing line. And I want to start in a nice clothing line where we get back to dressing, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
Of class, because
Right.
we're men of class, we're kings. So let's dress like it. So I'm about to start doing button downs. I'm starting to do the suits and things like the shirts, the caps. Whatever he tells me to do, I just want to be obedient, man.
Ain't obedient.
Last joke. There's an algorithm in life. And you are where you are right now. And you're perfectly designed to be there, based off of all of your choices of yesterday. And if you don't like where you are right now, that means you need to look at your game tape of life so that way you can start making different choices. You feel me? Like this right here, there's a code. And the code on this right here is called your fingerprints. We forgot about our fingerprints. We don't even talk about our fingerprints no more, Ahku, right? But tell me somebody with your fingerprints.
Never in life.
Never. Nobody.
Never in life, ever.
So if that's true, don't that make you a masterpiece? So if you're a masterpiece, why are so many people out here dying to copy? See, when you know who you are and you love you better than you've ever loved yourself, you will be everything that you were always called to be. But the problem is people tricked us out of love. And that love creates a void. And we fill that void with any toxic thing to try to fill the void of love. But when we start falling back in love with ourselves, there's nothing that can stop you because you don't care about the haters. If life is like a movie, somebody has to be the antagonist. The question is, will you become the hero of your own story? Will you save yourself?
Ooh, man, will you save yourself?
That's the realest thing ever. And my last quote is, I end all conversations like this. If you died today, would you get an A+ on life's report card? And only you know the answer to that question. But if not, and you're blessed to see tomorrow, you better live like it's extra credit.
I love that. You better live like it's extra
You better
credit.
live like it's, cause who told you you're gonna see tomorrow?
Who told you you couldn't rap? These are all bars.
You hear me? And look, and like we are all addicted to poison.
That's dope.
Because we choose to be.
Yeah.
But every day you wake up is an opportunity to change your future. But it's a closer day to your grave. What are you waiting for? You should be great with every breath you take. Because it could be your last. And shout out to Amir Suleiman. Amir Suleiman said, do you know that death has mounted its steed? And death has been chasing you since the day you were born. The question is, will death find you in your purpose or your excuses? I choose for death to catch me in my purpose.
And on that, living with intention.
Yes, sir.
You know where we're gonna find him. So, my brother.
Yes, sir.
King, man.
Yeah.
Hey, I gotta say, man, this moment, man, is very, 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 it's powerful, and it's necessary. There's intention, and I appreciate you standing on business and being in purpose.
Yeah.
There ain't nothing else to say, man. Thank you, my brother.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, man. I look forward to seeing the rest of your success and what you're about to do and the people you're about to heal, bro.
Yeah, and you know what, Ahku? We are proof that it don't matter if you're in your car. It don't matter if you get assaulted by the police. I know a young lady with no arms, no legs, and she says, I have more I cans than I cannots. So what are your excuses? We are proof. If you choose to live with a purpose every single day, life has to be obedient, and it will deliver the purpose. The question is, are you willing to put in the work for the purpose to come alive?